Yeah, happy Sunday, everybody. It is a long weekend. Everybody's enjoying Labor Day weekend. Yes, tomorrow is a holiday, but unfortunately, today is still the first of the month. So I imagine for most of us, the morning looked like this.
Rent?
Get out of here, landlord. Nobody cares. But yes, happy Sunday, everybody. We are going to kick off episode 59 of the weekly comic wrap up. And I have a very special guest. Yes, and I'm pumped to bring him on. But before I do, I just want to touch on something a little sad that's happened this week. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of, athletes. Psycho Sid actually passed away. If you're not familiar, he was a wrestler back in WWF days. But the Godreau brothers. You had obviously Johnny Godreau and Matthew Godreau. An absolute stupid accident. Drunk driver hit them, and unfortunately they passed away. I'm a huge hockey fan. Tonight's guest is a huge hockey fan. Hockey's about to kick off. That was a very big, heavy story, especially with the sister's wedding. That's what they were in town for. But it's just a simple reminder that guys, don't drink and drive, man. Like that is the most irresponsible thing you can do. I don't even want to go further into that because I feel a certain way. But Rocksteady actually was talking about this backstage with me, and he brought up a good point, saying, "Dude, what are the chances this happens to hockey players? So imagine how often this does happen out there in the real world, right? So, guys, please just drink responsibly. If you're not okay, hitch a ride, call a taxi, an Uber. It's accessible. But yeah, so condolences, and I really still have a hard time digesting that story. But anyways, enough with that. Let's kick it into high gear because my guest is sitting backstage. He's on fire. He's on fire. Since Terrificon, I've had an absolutely amazing time with this guy. I've had amazing times with him over on the Newbieverse. We've done so much stuff together. But let me tell you, it was like 3 years in the making to hang out with him. Guys, Rocksteady, how's it going?
Bow, bow, bow.
Yeah,
Is my camera off? I
no, no,
only see black on my end. Okay, you can see me.
I see you. I see
All
you.
right.
No,
That kind of shattered the excitement coming in. But yeah, let's go. I'm
yeah.
pumped for this. Yeah.
What's up, man? So yes, Terrificon, like I said, it was long overdue. We finally got to hang out. We talked about that over on the Terrificon, hangover show that we did amongst all of us. But in reality, and now that it's finally just me and you, I apologize to all the guys that we hung out with. But my favorite guy to fucking rock the night with is Rocksteady.
There's no
Hands down.
sleeping at Terrificon. No
Hands down.
sleeping.
Yo, you have like jumped. You're top of the list. Top of the list.
Yeah.
I'll put
Favorite.
Zach. Zach's up there too, man. Zach
No
is,
sleep for Zach either.
I love it. I love it. You
Yeah.
guys were a riot. It was a blast. But yeah, man, Rocksteady, besides Terrificon, you've been doing some awesome things within collecting, not just comics, but you're doing toys, dude. You're doing OA. OA, you opened my eyes to stuff. I
That
saw
was
you
wild,
open,
hey?
yeah, you opened original art, by the way, for those of you who don't know what that is. But yeah, original art, I don't know if you brainwashed Hyper, you opened his eyes to a whole new world. But he managed to buy original art that weekend as well. And Paperweight was talking a lot about original art too after having conversations with you, which was cool. And you've been collecting that for quite some time.
Actually, not even quite some time. Like last year at Terrificon, it kind of opened my eyes when you have multiple dealers there on behalf of different artists and the artists selling their original pages. And, for what some books cost, I just figure why not just buy the OA for a little bit more? Like some of it's fairly reasonable and it's one of a kind. And yeah, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, the original art was amazing. Some of the pieces, you scored a sick deal, by the way. There was that Doctor Doom one there. I forget what the art was, but it was like what, $40?
It was like 40 or $60 US. It was just pencils. Yeah, it was Doctor Doom and what's his group called? The Something of Evil.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it was pretty dope. And then I bought a Scotty page. I bought a Rocco's Modern Life cover. Yeah, I
The
didn't really
Rocco
buy
one
many
is sick.
comic books.
The Rocco's Modern Life is probably the nicest OA I saw in person that weekend. It was like super cool.
It's my favorite. Yeah, it really pops, eh? So
Yeah, dude.
yeah, I'm pretty pleased. But it's just like it's a whole other world, and it's, I don't know, like comics, there's enough volume of sales where you can track things and you can figure out where a price is approximately. With OA,
Yeah.
no clue. Like it's one of a kind stuff, so you kind of set the market for your own stuff.
Yeah, man, it's incredible. But toys, let's talk some of that stuff because, of course, you have been posting like crazy when it comes to toys, but not just posting, guys. Literally before this show, the man managed to go and pick up some awesome stuff. You literally have it right next to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to pull much of it up, but like old Micronauts, bootleg Masters of the Universe, Mego toys. Like yeah, so it was a pretty good haul.
Show me that Spidey that you put up before. This you said is from the '60s, right? Yeah,
I think it's like 60s or early 70s.
that's
Yeah, I'm
crazy.
pretty stoked on that.
Yeah, you're on fire, man. I love seeing your posts, and also, the card game is something that you're a little into,
A
right?
little into. It's scary. I see the same problems with cards as I do comics, where there's a volume demand, but with that volume comes a following. So there's a market there too. But cards are a little scary. It's a little more cutthroat, more competition. I like the oddball stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the card stuff is a whole other ball game. It's a rabbit hole I always try to avoid. I'm actually in some card chats where it's like I see some of the stuff they're
I
posting,
know.
and I'm like, oh, that's tempting, but I avoid it. But diversity is definitely something that best describes Rocksteady
Well,
because
I'm a picker, right? So I don't really get to choose what I find. You just have to know how to look up values and know your markets and know how to liquidate the stuff, right? So that's kind of the
yeah,
world I roll in, and I keep the pieces I like.
yeah, and it's awesome because we've connected now, right? Like in person, but of course, prior to that, we've only connected online. And what I've noticed is even here locally, some local Montrealers that I meet up with, and I'll pull one up right here. I see him in the chat. This guy right here. Every time we meet up, he met up with me. I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago. He came to my house to pick up some stuff, and he's like, "Dude, Rocksteady, we need to get him here. His collection's amazing. I want to see his
Oh, that's
collection."
cool.
No, no, no. And I was like, "Dude, it's cool to see that. You know what I mean? Just amongst social media and
Yeah, it was
networking."
cool. Yeah, Terrificon, or even just like even online, you meet people and you're like, oh yeah, I know you,
Yeah,
and it's really cool. Yeah, it's a
exactly.
small, big world.
Yep. But we're gonna get and convince many others to join us in Terrificon, the Canadian invasion, guys. I feel
Yeah,
like it's gonna be a big one next year. It's gonna continue to grow.
yeah. Every year, I think like a few more people catch on, right? So
Yeah.
I caught on last year. This was my second year, and it's fun to watch people's first years there. So then we just got to keep growing the group, but people need to commit early because it books up. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing I'll say is book earlier than later.
Yeah. Dude, for sure. I think the second we have the opportunity to book hotels, we have our group. We're going to be already communicating on that aspect. But I highly encourage everybody exactly what Rocksteady just said. If you're planning on making that trip next year, you might want to start already looking into that as we get towards the holiday season. If I'm not mistaken, it's around that point where they start to open up rooms, right?
Yeah, I think so. They just announced the date at the last day of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's around Christmas, so it's a great Christmas gift.
Yeah,
Ask the
for sure.
family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask my wife. Be like, hey, you know what I want for Christmas? I want you to ship me away to the Mohegan Sun.
yeah,
um,
exactly.
so there you go, man. But all right, Rocksteady, let's get into the show. Before we do, we're gonna say hi to the chat because Love for Comics was here and he's asking if we're ready for Rocksteady. Man, I don't know if
Always
Rocksteady's
ready.
ready for Rocksteady.
I'm never ready. Yeah, I know. Now you've met me in person.
Yeah, exactly. But no, he's ready. He's totally ready. TKO Collectibles in the house. How's it going, TKO? Definitely appreciate you swinging by. Dan Delatorre saying that he's driving, but yes, definitely use your microphone. Don't
Do it
do it.
safe.
Yep, don't do anything
Yeah.
crazy. And worst case scenario, catch us on the replay, man. No
Yeah.
worries, Dan. But we appreciate you going out your way to tune in. Michael Baker, Labor Day, one of the best holiday
The baker.
weekends with things to come in the next few months. Absolutely. And actually, sports are going to
Yes.
commence very
Yes.
soon. NFL next weekend. I'm expecting my viewership to drop by at least 3/4, but it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. I don't blame you guys. Who else we got here? We've got Lefteros in the house. Who
Uh,
we're gonna go through some of the FOC picks of the week. according to Lefteros, I've had conversations with him. He too might make it to Terrificon next year. So let's hold him to that, guys. Make sure he brings his behind to the Mohegan Sun. Gear Up 260s in the house. Yes, Armin, one of the best cleaners, pressers in the game. Appreciate you being here. Guys, please subscribe. Go check out his channel. He's doing constant unboxings. He actually, you remember we were talking some of the banana stuff. I was talking about it last week on the show with CGC's casings. And we're going to get into that in the hot topics because, of course, there's been some awesome trolling going on. But there's two perspectives I want to go through. And Gear Up, I'm going to be referencing you over on that portion. So just wanted to give you a heads up there. Now, Cliff was there at the Mohegan Sun, and Cliff is here in the chat. So I'm happy to see him here. Hopefully we'll see Cliff back on sometime soon on a Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time. But until then, subscribe to his channel, of course. You got Paperweight, Collectibles, the other Greg 2.0. Yes, he got the 2. This guy gets the 1. It is what it is, bro.
I was here first. Sorry, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. This is
nothing against you.
Nothing against him, but yeah, if we had to physically fight for the 1.0, I think we all lose, right? You know this, correct?
We can settle on 1.5 each.
1.5 is fair. I don't even know if that adds up. Just both of you be 1. But yeah, man. So Paperweight, shout out to you. I know you're away with your family this weekend. You got Ferdy in the house. Ferd Bird. Yo, Ferdy, we are talking about you, my friend, during the market report. So guys, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, make sure you give this guy a follow over on Instagram because he actually made a very awesome sale. So shout out to Ferdy. Looking forward to talking about that book. Got Gregory in the house. Gregory, how is it going, brother? Appreciate you being here.
3.0.
Yeah, 3.0. That's Gregory 3.0. Greg 3.0. You got Chia Pet in the house. Now, Chia, listen, Rocksteady is at the top of the list. If there's anybody you want to party with and hang out with at Terrificon, you want to have a good time, not that kind of good time, but like a good time. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, definitely you want to be.
I'm good in small doses. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. Yeah, we got Frog Brawler in the house. Good morning. What part of the world are you in right now, man? That's
France.
Yeah, amazing. But yeah, would make somewhat sense. But yes, Frog Brawler. Appreciate you. Good evening from us. Good morning from you. So we appreciate you. This other guy was awesome to party with as well. Okay, you know what? I think we got a triple threat going at the top of the list because Ozzy was awesome too, man.
Yeah, he was my travel buddy, man. We made the most of it. When we got stranded, I was lucky I was with Ozzy for sure.
I felt so bad for you guys. So bad. But it turned out to be a good...
Yeah, it was awesome.
A good thing, right? The delays worked in your favor. Infamous Jeb in the house. My brother still made it to work immediately after the show last Sunday, and I appreciate him going out of his way just to be here on the show last week. So, Jeb, nothing but love, brother. Appreciate you. And, of course, we got Steph's Comics in the house. Steph, how's it going? We spoke about you. We showed you some love. And this man, Rocksteady, I think you're his new favorite.
I follow.
Yeah, he doesn't care about me. He's here for you. That's the reality. So
I watch all his videos.
Yeah, dude, his posts are amazing with cards and stuff like that. But speaking amazing, guys, Rich is in the house, man. Spec Media. That's right. Are we ready for Rocksteady? 2 turntables and a microphone. Yeah, you know how he. There you go. But yeah, man, Rich doing some amazing things, guys. If you're not already subscribed to Spec Media, you're really missing out. Definitely go show some love to Spec Media.
That's for sure.
Yeah, dude. Him, Brian McClay. I honestly wanted to make it onto Brian's show last night. He always sends shout out to Brian McClay, bro, and Rich, of course, always sends out a message in a group chat that we're in, drops the link. He's always inviting, and I got to take him up on that, man. I am gonna try to make it.
Yeah, get on there.
Yeah, man, dude. The chat last night was amazing. If
you
guys missed it, definitely check out some of Brian McClay's stuff. Subscribe to Spec Media. I don't need to tell you. You guys are already aware, man. They're some of the best in the game. Pacino Collects is in the house. Pacino, I miss you. We're going to get you on too, man. North 49's in the house. We got Linman in the house. I think we're getting pretty much everybody in the chat. If I missed anybody, I apologize. North 49. But let's get into the show. Rocksteady, we're going to kick it off with some FOC picks of the week. So, are you ready?
Fucking A, bro.
telling you, he's my favorite. But FOC selections of the week for September 2nd. Of course, the picks selected by none other than Leftero. So if you guys are not already following him on Instagram, please do so. Go check him out on Instagram. And of course, you can get an even more extended, detailed reasons as to why he has selected these choices over on Covrprice's website. So definitely go check those out. Now, before we get into them, I want to let you know you can go and visit, if you're in the United States, comicnation.us. You have 15% off of Covrprice already, and you can get it yourself an additional 5% off by using discount code Black Crown. So definitely go check out Comic Nation. And for Canada, that's right, us two fellow Canadians and some of you in the chat, go visit comiclegion.ca, where the prices are already discounted at 20% off. You can get yourself an additional 5% off of your order by using discount code ENLIST if it is your first time purchasing on the website. Now, quick disclaimer, Rocksteady, we got to let the people know, we're not pushing any of these books. We're not pumping them. We are just bringing you the information. So please purchase what you think is worthy of purchasing. Say two. That's all.
Don't purchase what I recommend is probably the safer choice if we're being real here.
There you go. Yeah. So do the opposite of what Rocksteady says, is what we're saying. But all right, let's kick it off with the first book. Now, this is Ultimate Black Panther issue number 9, the main cover right here. And it's looking like we're going to get the possible first appearance of Earth 6160's Doctor Strange. Just based on the cover alone, as you can see, looks like that might be the case. Now, I do like the idea, but I would also like to see it be Brother Voodoo. I think that would be cool. So who knows? Who knows?
Isn't it Dr. Voodoo now? Did they change it?
Not to my knowledge. Oh yes. I don't know if there was an official change to Dr. Voodoo. To me, he's always Brother Voodoo. So it is.
Yeah. This Ultimate Universe is a deep, dark rabbit hole that they've created. It seems like every other issue is a first appearance. I think this is one you kind of go back and look at and buy the full runs of, like, because shops are ordering quite a few of these, but nobody's really buying them.
Yeah,
I think you can hold out on these, but I don't know. I fell off this on issue 2. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you, of course. Even for myself, it wasn't entirely for me. I did say that. And then, Chiapet was the one who was recommending, because as of issue 3 is when I kind of dipped out. And he's like, dude, you should totally get back on. And I'm like, all right, let's give it a whirl. And so far, so good. So I'm enjoying it. But speaking enjoyment in comics, guys, check out Marvin Wynn, who's in the chat tonight. Guys, he's putting out some amazing work. Definitely check it out. He's got The Edge comic book, which is awesome. So definitely go show Marvin some love. You can find him over on Instagram as well, and definitely check out his YouTube page, man. But that's it for that. Let's get into the next book, because we have Star Wars Battle of Jakku Insurgency Rising number 1, first appearance and cover of Brog and Ubrick Adelhard. So look, not entirely the biggest Star Wars guy, but I always appreciate Lefteros bringing this to the forefront.
Star Wars books, even the stories have been, like, every time I try to get back into it, because I consider myself a pretty big Star Wars fan, mostly of the original trilogy, but every time I dive back into it, it's so crap. I think the last time was some Lando Calrissian series, and it was brutal. So yeah, I'm having a really hard time with Star Wars lately. I don't want to say they need a reset, but I think maybe they need to go down to some, like, tried, tested, and true stuff. Like, get back to the Clone Wars, get back to some more along the lines of original stories, stuff like that.
Yeah. Nemesis saying, where's Newbie? Because he's a huge Star Wars fan. Yeah. No, if anybody is, we know it's you, Nemesis. And shout out to Nemesis Comic-Con Podcast. Show them some love. They're over on Instagram, over on YouTube, and of course on your podcast platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it may be. But yeah, man, so this is pretty interesting. Again, not entirely up my alley, so I won't dive further into that. I think Phil Noto did a wonderful cover, but yeah.
I like Noto, and Noto, I'm scared, is going to die with, like, Star Wars, like his comic. Because that's where he does most of his work, it seems, right? Yeah. And I think he's got to get off that I think it's holding him back.
Yeah, well, Mind you, there's some of the things that I'm hearing now, artist related with Jen Bartel. We'll we'll talk about that topics, but I get what you mean, man. I hope this is not what we're gonna see Phil Noto constantly doing, just Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
He's got potential. Well, what is the last thing Noto did prior to that? That's got me thinking.
Like he's done a bunch of Marvel variants
Yeah,
and but nothing like steady where he's done the run of covers or anything like that.
yeah, that's true. But anyway, so Star Wars Battle of Jakku. There you go. So Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes special number 1. This is the Sandoval variant. Now, what I like about this is it's got the first in-story appearance of Phantasma. And dude, ever since we got those covers of the, all these new characters up and coming, I've been a buyer. I am going to be honest. I did buy as many of those covers possible. Like I got one of each, at least for the covers. Sorry, the characters I thought were interesting, and this one, of course, being one of them. Phantasma is looking pretty badass, man.
So Ghost Rider has a bigger following than I originally thought. And I also feel like Ghost Rider fans are so like cult like that when they do buy the books, they buy all of them. And there hasn't been that much Ghost Rider stuff out there. So I
Yeah.
think Robbie Reyes has become that like cult favorite now. And I think anything related to him could really grow, and I could see him playing a bigger part in the Marvel world going forward. I think there's enough fandom there.
Yeah, dude. I think the design of the character is amazing, and I agree with you about Robbie Reyes. It's funny because his first appearance has come down quite significantly, but back to this character, I just think it's a wonderful looking character. I look forward to seeing what the character is going to bring forth now within the comics. So for myself, this is an automatic pickup, and especially this particular cover. Now, I will say there's also the other regular cover, which reminded me a lot of the TMNT. Remember the what's it called, the Muerto
Oh
whatever?
yes, I saw it. Yeah,
Yeah, it
like
reminded me.
Mexican traditional art or something like that.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of that, which is very
Yeah,
fitting. So I like
probably
that.
same artist.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely loved it. So I think I'm going to be picking up both covers. That's just me. But if you want to spec on this character, this is a great pickup. Now, oh, there it is.
There
I
it is.
even realized it was on the list. Well, there you go. But yeah, man, this is neat. I think this looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, there you go. Day of the Dead. The Day of the Dead.
Yeah, there you go.
Appreciate that. Yeah, Sugar Skull covers. It's funny because when I went to Mexico, I bought a ton of Sugar Skulls. I have them in my home, and I totally blanked on the name. So
That's awesome.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, these are
Um,
great covers. Yeah, the Ninja Turtle ones absolutely killed it, and I'm happy to see more. I can see this being a thing.
yeah, dude. Love
Then
it.
all of a sudden we'll get like 30 in 2 months, and you got to get the whole set, just like the Alex Ross ones or the I don't know.
Well, yeah, the same happened
Don't
with
play it out, Marvel. This is what Marvel does. They have success with something, then they just like spit it all out and barf it all up.
yeah.
Like,
Luckily, this is a special, so I'm hoping that we
yeah.
won't see this this trend continue. This cover alone, though, is an absolute banger, and I'm gonna be picking this up now.
Mhm.
Moving along to DC, Batman Long Halloween, Last Halloween, issue number 1. This is the cover G. It's the Batman foil cover by Jim Lee, who Jim Lee was actually at Terrificon, and my oh my, was that ever a big lineup.
Yeah.
But you've got this cover right here, and of course, they made the 1 in 100 incentive in a black and white variant, which looks absolutely, it looks amazing. Yeah, I love this. I'm not the biggest fan though when it comes to these black and white sketch
I
variants, to
think
be
it's
honest.
so cheap. Okay, you want to make it an open order book, okay, but you're 1 in 100. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So I'm one of preference with full colors, and I said it even. You remember when the Transformers issue dropped, where it was like the full? It looked like a full map. I forget
I
who
know
did
exactly what you're talking about.
I forget who did the art on that, but you had the option of the cover and the black and white, and everybody was favoring the black and white one. But in reality, I went with the color one simply because I liked it, and I was contemplating getting both. But yeah, but for the 1 in 100, if you're into this, again, pretty neat, and I think it would make a signature look great
Is
on
the
this
black
cover.
and white
Yeah.
foil as well?
I believe so. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna.
Huh.
I hope it's not personally, but according to Lefteros, this is a foil. Definitely, if I would get this signed by Jim Lee, right in that moon, right there is where I'd be having.
Oh, so Batman could look up to Jim Lee.
There you go. Always don't fucking go there. Don't go there. Don't go there, Jim Starlin. Nah. Anyways, but yes, wonderful cover. Venom War issue number 3. This is the Crane variant. Dude, the Venom horse has been getting such crazy love since the trailer of Venom: The Last Dance, and Clayton Crane has been at the forefront of drawing this character apparently very well. I saw the first what issue was it? The Venom War. I think it was Venom War 1 where Clayton Crane did the cover of Venom Horse, and I was
Yeah.
seeing it selling at like $15. Now the horse hanging upside down, kind of a la Spider-Man, pretty fun, pretty funny.
I don't know. It's gotten ridiculous, and I hope Clayton Crane isn't serious with these, and I hope that he's having fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. This is all just getting a little crazy to me.
Yeah.
all the horse stuff.
Definitely. So Lefteros is clearing up the fact that this is not
That's
actually
better.
a foil. He says it was late. He was out of coffee. I think he started drinking something else after the coffee. But Lefteros, we still appreciate what you're doing. So thank you so much. Now let's move it forward because we have Knights versus Samurai number 1. This is the cover C. Now this is a variant done by Todd McFarlane. This here is the cover C, but what's cool about this is you also have the 1 in 50 incentive, clearly without the trade there, but it's an incentive variant that will be signed by Todd McFarlane and David Dasmalchian. So that's pretty interesting. I mean, for a 1 in 50, that's cool. You know what I mean? Normally those Todd
Yeah.
McFarlane signatures on ratios, you got to seek the 1 in 1,000. Fuck.
Right? Like, I think that's pretty cool, man, if you ask me. That means there's going to be a lot of the other covers around. So, and usually when he does something like that, he refuses to sign it afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So that's also very cool. And I like the cover. We just talked about not liking the black and white as much, but with the inks, I think this is pretty sharp.
Yeah.
I'm
It
down
looks
with
awesome.
this one.
Even the oh yeah, people are asking crazy money on eBay already. I haven't even checked yet. I could only imagine, especially with the signatures of both.
This
Being
is where
on
you
there.
got to start doing the math, and you just order 50 through your shop.
Well, yeah, at that point, I believe the book is also like a $2.99 book, if I'm not mistaken. I'll confirm that with you
Oh.
guys. Yeah, I'll confirm that with you guys in just a second. But it almost seems worth. Yeah, it's a $2.99 book. So at this point, almost seems worth it to scoop up 50 copies, and then you're probably going to pay less than what the eBay price is going
So
for.
that would be $150, depending what they're going for on eBay. And then you have
Exactly.
the leftover books.
And then you have to hope that you have an honest shop who's going to be like, yeah, we got it. Not that, oh, we got shorted, right?
You get the dent.
Yeah, exactly. So play it safe. Order 51 comics. But regardless, the cover A is also very nice as well. I really liked the cover A, which is not going to be shown tonight, but it's available over on FOC, and the story seems pretty interesting from what I read. So yeah, I'm pretty much on board for this one. I'll be making an order.
I'll get on board with that.
Yeah, see, I agree. Work out a deal. Michael Baker saying, I love McFarlane as much as anyone, but Random Dragons cover. Listen,
No, dragons are his jam. Like, he had that whole toy line of McFarlane's dragons. Like,
yeah.
McFarlane dragons go back.
Well, yeah, dude, but he's done so many things that are very similar in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a good grab. Anyways, Deadpool issue number 7, main cover, first cover appearance of Earth 6160's Ellie as Deadpool. That's right, Deadpool's daughter is going to be Deadpool. Now, first cover appearance, sure. I saw the preview as well over on Previews World. There was a preview where you could see some of the pages. She's clearly in full gear, kicking ass as Deadpool. So it makes me believe it's gonna be issue 6 where we'll see her become or put on the suit or whatever it is when it comes to Deadpool. So I think a majority of us are in agreement. I've spoken and heard many other channels saying the same thing. She's going to show up. That's right. There you go. Jeb just said it. She's going to show up in issue 6.
It's going to be a hot book.
So I would say definitely pick up issue 7 for the first cover appearance, but issue 6 is most likely where the first appearance is going to be. You might want to pick those up. If you missed it on FOC, start calling your shops, see if you can pick up those copies if you want to speculate on this character, of course. I'm a fan. From what I saw in the previews, she looks badass. I like it, so I'm on board. I'm on board.
Torrin Clark, good artist. Yeah, I'm down with this.
Yeah.
I think anything Deadpool major character carries some weight to it. The original Lady Deadpool, that just like really took off recently. So yeah, especially if there's going to be some crossover with Miles, that's where you get magic happening, right? So yeah, I'm behind this little run here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on board now. That's for sure. I'm definitely gonna want to keep an eye out on the character, but Chiapet saying the Peach Momoko cover is smoking. I will tell you that also the Mark Bagley cover is gorgeous. I definitely
And they're
ordered
bringing out the
myself.
Heat artists, so you
Yeah,
know it's significant, right?
yeah. So I'm definitely going to be picking that up. But Momoko does also have a 1 in 100 incentive for this book.
Yeah.
So here you have it. Looks good. I'm again not the biggest Momoko fan. It's fair. It's fair. I'm sure Momoko fans like this.
I think you and I are very similar. Where some people go crazy over anything Momoko, and I'm more misses than hits, but when they do hit, I really appreciate them. And this is a hit. So this is the Virgin. So there's an open order cover with the trade.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the open order trade for this one, and the 1 in 100 being this. I mean, typical Marvel. They're not going to put a different cover as the ratio for the 1 in 100.
Lazy, but whatever.
Exactly.
Like this is their opportunity. You know, make that the 1 in 100. You know, that's a sick book to do it on.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I've said it many times how I feel about this approach, but it is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. I'm selective. This one rocks. There you go. So Chia likes this one. I'm okay without it. Now we'll keep rolling because there's also a Doctor Doom cover for this one, and yeah, of course, Amanda Connor doing an awesome job. I think Leftero was slightly biased here. I'm not going to make any assumptions, but it seems that way. But yeah, of course, Doctor Doom. There's a lot of Doctor Doom covers that are available this week on FOC as well. So just wanted to highlight this one. It's neat. I think it's pretty cool with Deadpool's head right there. So yeah, pretty neat.
Look at the planning Marvel does, hey? Like you didn't come up with these books overnight. Robert Downey Jr. comes out as Doctor Doom. Oh shit! Coincidentally, we also have all these Doctor Doom variants coming out. Like Marvel's a machine, and they know exactly what they're doing.
Exactly.
I don't know. I'd get the other cover if you're a Doom fan. Sure. Is he even in the book?
No, like I said, there's a lot of Doctor Doom covers that are available on FOC. They've been already starting to pump Doctor Doom variants, which is it's neat to see. But yeah, the timing of it is just incredible, considering
But it's interesting that they've built up like that, and nobody found out by watching the comic books. Even in like some of the video games, they've had more emphasis on Doctor Doom. Nobody put it together, right?
Yeah. Leftero was saying this one got me because of the respect for Doctor Doom character design. Yes, the design looks amazing. I think Amanda Connor did a great job. I can't really make out exactly what he's saying because of the way my setup is right now. But yeah, I think it's a neat cover. But we'll keep it rolling because I spoke Doctor Doom covers. We have X-Men number 5, the Capuccio variant, and of course Doctor Doom and X-Men cover depiction by Capuccio, as I said. I think this is a gorgeous cover. I love this. I love covers like this.
This is a great cover. I'll give you that. But it gets hard to justify with some of the prices on some of the books just to buy for the cover these days, right?
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But if you're a Doom fan, yeah, like I'd be on it. I think it's a good one.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. Obviously, be selective. Considering the prices of comics right now, it's pricey to buy solely based on covers, but some of them they just seem to get me, and yeah, this one might be one of those. So yeah, definitely picking this one up. I think X-Men 5 has some wonderful covers, and we'll get into that a little more. Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu, number 1, and of course we wouldn't go with any other cover on the list available for FOC this week, while Rocksteady's on this panel, man. Scotty Young. Scotty Young.
For those of you who don't know, I like Scotty Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I love Scotties. It was heavy a little, like maybe 2 months ago when they were coming out with like 10 Scotty Young covers a week. That's where like it gets heavy on FOC. So FOC responsibly, because you don't also want to be that person who cancels all the books when they come out, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you're a Scotty fan, this is a must-have. He's knocked out some crazy Moon Knight covers in the past. This just goes in the collection. I
It
for
is.
sure got this one.
It's funny how the segue went to how we just finished talking about, covers on books. They're great, but be selective because they're
Yeah.
pricey. And this guy's coming out saying, "Dude, there was 10 Scotty Young covers."
But in all honesty, like I used to, my pull box each week was probably $10. Okay,
Same.
and it would be like only three different books and all the variant covers. And then you're walking out of there and you're like, oh, that was like $60. And you're like, I'm not really satisfied at $60. So I've cut down. I'm doing all my Scotty Young covers. I do most of the Miles Morales stuff, and then rarely here and there kind of stuff. But yeah,
And
Scotty, I'm all in.
there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, always collect what you like. But back to the Scotty stuff. I think this one, dude, I brought the Moon Knight for Scotty Young to sign at Terrificon with the moon right above him. You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Um, Beautiful book. I didn't get it signed, unfortunately, but I think this one here screams for a signature. Especially at the bottom, dude. You put it in a different color, like a vibrant pink or something, just anything. It's gonna look amazing.
So if you order Scotty Young books off of the Scotty Young website, I believe it's only $10 or $12 more, and he'll sign it for you, and he'll send you a signed copy.
There you
So
go.
you can grab those off of there. You can also pre-order 9/8s and all sorts of stuff off there. So I think this is a good one to sign, but
Yeah.
not for value, just because Scotty Young's dope.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Love this cover. Now, there's also another awesome one by Stephen Platt. Stephen Platt was at Fan Expo. I know Chia Pet, who's here in the chat, and shout out to Comic Legion and Covrprice for doing a great job. Actually interviewing some of the artists and the content creators, comic creators, sorry, over at Fan Expo. If you missed it, definitely go check it out on Covrprice, Instagram or YouTube. But yeah, man, Stephen Platt was there, and Stephen Platt, dude. There's also the trade available for this. This is the 1 in 100 incentive. I like this. I think this is a gorgeous cover, man. Stephen Platt has not lost it, in my opinion.
This is, yeah, and he's done some of the best Moon Knight covers like ever.
Yeah,
Um, he just does it so well. Something about the black and white. He keeps it simple while it's still like is intricate, if that makes sense. Because
yep,
if you think about that picture, I don't know, 60% of it is blank. Like it's either black or white, right? So it really makes you feel. I like it. I like the focal point on it. It's a good cover.
absolutely, man. My favorite, I think my favorite Moon Knight cover that Platt did is actually Moon Knight 55.
Oh yeah,
So
killer.
yeah, you know exactly which one I'm talking about, right? That was his first on Moon Knight. So I think that one's gorgeous. But yeah, he's on fire. I love this 1 in 100 incentive. I'm definitely gonna go with the trade because that's what my wallet permits me to
Yeah.
do. Venom War Spider-Man issue number 3. Again, pure cover grab from myself. Curious to see if this plays out at all within the story, but cover depiction of Spider-Man as the King in Black by Greg Land. Greg Land is one of those artists I love to hate and hate to love. If that makes any sense. I'm not a big fan of some of the things he's done practices wise when it comes to art, but this here I love. I absolutely love. So I'm curious to see if we do see more of Spider-Man as the King in Black. I've not been fully up to date with Venom or Spider-Man, so now I might have to get onto this. Yeah, exactly. Chiapet saying exactly what I'm talking about. Did he trace this?
Yeah. So I do like Greg Land. But this, I don't know. Like each like in Black is getting crappier and crappier as it goes. Like Silver Surfer Black, probably like one of my favorite series, like short series of all time. And like I love it. And then you had the King in Black. Um, that was the one with Null and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
The
Yep.
Donny Cates one.
Yep.
And that one just like started strong, trailed off, and it's just you want to say let it go, but it is an awesome idea that you want to take forward. Is Spider-Man the character? I don't think so. You can't land it here, so I'd be weary of this.
Yeah, Jeb. If it's what you're into, bro, I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't disagree with you. I think everybody feels the same way when it comes to Null. We hope he does have his day, and he will. He'll be back. But yeah, I think this is awesome. So I think this is a nice cover, even considering I feel a certain way about Greg Land. Greg 4.0, right? That's what we're gonna
Yeah.
refer to him as. X
Somewhere
Men number
later on the
5.
list.
Yeah. X-Men number 5, we spoke about the other cover, but of course, I want to bring up the Campbell variant. Of course, it ended up being the thumbnail for today because this cover is fire. Yes, full pun intended. But Phoenix looks amazing. J. Scott Campbell's been putting out some awesome covers, and I think this is one of them that is just absolutely amazing. I do expect to see this as a second print incentive, which would not shock me one bit, but I prefer this. I'm going to be picking this one up 100%.
Okay, are we gonna place bets now that like the second print 125 will be the version of this one, or
Of course, dude. It's gonna be a
yeah,
virgin, probably
that's
even
so
a
far
color
away.
swap. Yeah, whatever.
So dope cover, like probably the best cover we've seen on this FOC selection so far. J. Scott, legend, Phoenix, J. Scott drawing women. I think this just checks all the boxes. I don't think this will stay on shelves very long.
No,
I don't know much about the story right now, but yeah, this is a good cover.
yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Now, speaking fine covers, fine women, we have a very peachy cover here with Hello Darkness, issue number 3. It's the unlockable variant, and it is a virgin variant cover by Paulo Rivera. So, yeah, if you're into this, I think this is a good grab. I like those one per stores, right? Those unlockables. Majority of them don't tend to do so well. But yeah, I like this one. It's a neat cover.
So to me, at first, this kind of comes across as a throwaway, but the fact that it's Garth Ennis' story, like, it's going to be decent, right?
Yeah.
One per stores, in my opinion, are way more valuable than almost any incentive variant
Yep.
moving forward, because if you order a retailer exclusive, you're getting what 21 and 100s, where you can only get one of these
Of course.
for stuff like that, or unlockables. I think are underrated. And Boom itself, Boom has probably on average the best bang for how much they put out, right? Like most
Yep.
hit for what
Yep.
they do. So Boom only puts out quality stuff. Very cool book. The art, you know, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I like certain aspects of it, but
No kidding. I could imagine.
yeah.
And the first three. Oh yeah, aspects. I was
Somebody in that lighthouse is going to be very happy.
100%, 100%, and the photographer or whoever was drawing this. But yeah, I shout out to Phil's Treehouse was here in the chat saying so far it's a fun anthology. So there's also that when it comes to the book. But yeah, man, Chip had saying the same. It also witches.
Cool.
So it's a cool story. Now we'll keep it rolling because we have Power Fantasy number 1. This is the 1 in 10 incentive. It's a foil wraparound incentive. Don't even ask me to pronounce that name. I could say Casper. I'm not going to say the last part. But
Vanguard.
Yeah, it is that what we're saying?
I don't know. Yeah.
Wingard. Yeah, okay. So we'll
Vanguard.
go with that. But this is actually going to a third printing, so pretty neat. Power Fantasy came out the gates pretty well, man. They played the whole 2 different covers thing going with the cover A on the first print. I like this. Now going to third print. The wraparound is very neat.
Yeah, this book just by storm out of nowhere. I had no clue, nothing about it. I still haven't read it. I think if you're looking for investment, I think that's past. I think as we go on with printings, even a 1 in 10 isn't that
Yeah.
big of an order for a later printing. I've heard good things. Yeah, if you haven't caught it, now's your chance to get it at Covrprice, right?
Yep.
Power Fantasy one. So nothing wrong with that.
I agree with you, sir. Now, Zatanna bringing down the house issue number 4 has a 1 in 25 incentive. This is an amazing cover by Swaby. I love it. Dude, there's something about Zatanna covers. I think a lot of us are, we agree when it comes to Zatanna covers being amazing. There's just something about it.
It's yeah. I can't put my finger on it, but I'd like to put my finger on it.
My
If that
man.
makes sense.
My man.
Yeah, I don't know. Zatanna just has, no matter what you're into, I think Zatanna's like, oh, you'll second luck, right?
Yep.
So this is a dope cover, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But why'd you take so long to come home?
Yep. I am so happy with what you said. I agree with you. I hope you do manage to get your finger on that. So Zatanna, now Thundercats issue number 8. This is the cover R. I can't believe how many covers exist for this series. It's insane. But it's the first appearance and cover of Apex. So it's a neat looking character here. If you're into the Thundercats stuff, this might be worthy of a pickup. We'll see how this character does. I like the design, man. I think the design's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Dynamite's an interesting one. I think a lot of these in the future are going to have value, especially from some of these major like brands, I guess you would call it, like Thundercats or whatever else they're doing, right? Like I heard some pretty cool ones are coming up soon too.
Yeah.
And the design variant, yeah, like for the right Thundercats person, and Thundercats fans are crazy, I think this is a great book.
Yep. Rocksteady has been hanging out with Newbie for a little too long. Yes, 100%. But yeah, man. So
Pick of the week.
Thundercats issue 8. Derek asking, because we are on the cover R with the first appearance and cover of Apex. But Derek's asking, what happens when they pass cover Z?
I'm
Does
not
it
sure if
roll
it
over?
doubles letter or if it numbers. Is
Oh,
it
dude.
A1 or?
No, I think it goes to double letters. So which is absolutely wild. Hyper Combo Comics is in the house, man. Appreciate you being here. Running a little late as always, but I still am so happy to have you here. So thanks for being here. Now, want to get to the next one. We got Night of Slashers number 1. This is a VHS variant. I feel like our good friend over on the West Coast, Vancouver Comic Junkie, would appreciate such a cover, but it's a VHS themed variant by Robert Hack. I think it's cool, man. This is neat.
At what point did VHS become cool again? Like it all of a sudden happened? Was it when it had value or who knows? But for so long, like nobody had any interest.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if like kids nowadays would even know what this means. You know what I'm saying? Like this definitely is targeted at our age audience.
VHS became cool again once Vancouver Comic Junkie made it cool again. That's what it is. I'll stick to that story.
And what's interesting is like the most popular VHS are the horror. So they know who they're targeting here, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of a double whammy. If you're a horror fan, you got to grab this.
Yeah. Hyper, I tried to avoid the second half of this comment.
Yeah,
But,
I thought you were going to.
Yeah. We all saw that video. And I'm going to end it off on this one. In fact, the main reason is because of that. So we have Creepshow number 1 right here, the 1 in 10 incentive. It is a baseball-themed cover by Steve Beach. And I think this is sick, dude. Clearly a fastball right through the chest. It's pretty neat. I like this cover.
This is awesome. And you have Zdarsky writing this. This is a number 1 in 10 horror book. This cover is like sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm down with this book. I'm gonna try to get this one. And Skybound, not everywhere carries Skybound even.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to end it off on that book, because I know that you are a very hardcore baseball guy.
That's how I felt.
That's exactly. We're just gonna leave it at that. But guys, that was one of the lengthiest FOC lists ever on the show. In fact, I think it was 26 slides. But just want to shout out Lefteros. Of course, guys, go show some love to Lefteros. Follow him over on Instagram, and you can support Lefteros by just going to visit comicnation.us. Get yourself a little discount by using Black Crown as the discount code. It'll give you 5% off. And if you're in Canada, go visit comiclegion.ca, where, of course, you can get 20% off of these books available on FOC, and get yourself an additional 5 if it's your first order by using the discount code ENLIST. And last but not least, definitely go subscribe to my favorite website that exists for a collector, Covrprice.com. Go visit them, subscribe to their YouTube page. You'll find me there over on Thursday nights doing the Shaker Show. But Covrprice is just always upping their game, man. They're always upping their game. So much accessible stuff over on the website. So definitely go check it out. Rocksteady, that was the FOC. We have some awesome books to talk about in the market. I'm not even gonna ask you because I know you're ready. I know you're ready. Actually, you know what? I am gonna ask you, Rocksteady, are you ready?
Let's go, bud.
Oh yeah. All right, market report. There's some big sales again this week, some fun ones, some interesting ones, and one also that includes one of us. Somebody here in the chat made an awesome sale, so I definitely want to highlight that, and for good reason. For good reason. Now, of course, always visiting websites such as CBSI, Covrprice, eBay, Go Collect. I'm watching Brian McClay. I'm watching Ferd Bird. I'm watching Spec Media. I'm watching all of you, and I definitely want to shout out everybody who does the same, covering content, top 10 lists, House of Stein. Appreciate everybody. So let's get into it. Avengers issue 67, first cover appearance of Ultron 6, CGC 96 selling for 521 US dollars. It was on the Covrprice Daily Shaker. And I want to highlight that also Michael Baker did send this my way. So we will highlight Michael Baker, Baker Shaker. But with the recent news of James Spader, Ultron, I think this is a good buy.
I think this is a great buy. Even the first appearance of like Ultron, I forget what issue it is. That's an absolute gravy book, and it's underrated. And we forgot about Ultron because it was a while ago. A 9.6 is near impossible to get in something of this age. Yeah, bang on. I have no complaints about this book at all. I think that's a cool sale.
Yeah, dude. Even the first appearance of Ultron is pretty affordable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Dude, amazing character. I always say at the Age of Ultron, I actually rewatched it after my show last week because we were talking about it briefly. And yeah, man, I think it's a good movie. I don't have any issues with it. Derek, show me your sales, bro. I will happily highlight those for you. Darth Lopez in the house saying I ordered all these. So, dude,
nice.
That is a heavy FOC. Props to you.
Use your discount code.
Yeah, make sure you're getting that discount. That's all I ask. But yeah, man, love this cover. Agree with you, Lefteros. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Nick saying more Ultron, the better. I couldn't agree more. And the Dan Delatorre saying great Avengers book. Baker Shaker does it again. Shout out to the Covrprice as well, though, because they did send this. Sorry, not send it. They had it over on the Covrprice Daily Shaker. So shout out to them. Now, we're going to hit on some DC Superstars issue 17 because you have the origin of Green Arrow and Huntress. CGC 98 selling for 1,095 US dollars. This was a Baker Shaker. And I think, dude, the $1,100 mark for such a book, it totally makes sense to me, especially when you factor the cover itself, right? I could imagine it's very difficult to come across in a high grade.
I think Green Arrow used to carry this book, and I think Huntress carries this book now.
Exactly.
I think Green Arrow sucks, to be honest with you. So 9.8, again, really tough to get, but we're getting a little bit later now because we're into the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's a little high for it. I don't think it's going to be one that's going to grow like a blue chip, but cool book, man. Find 9.8, like not many out there. I wonder what the pop is.
I agree with you on the fact that Huntress also carries this book now, right? Of course, Green Arrow, highly loved. I would say a household name. I think so, especially after,
on the back of Green Lantern.
Yeah, on the back of Green Lantern. But no, I think Stephen Amell did a good job. I enjoyed the series at the beginning. Afterwards, it kind of got a little long, like it was a bit of a drag. But yeah, I like Green Arrow. I hope to see more Green Arrow on, the DC Gunverse. We'll see if that's what it's called, I guess, at this point. But yeah, so pretty interesting sale. DC Superstars 17 selling for a CGC 98, 1,095 US dollars. But let's keep it rolling.
Yes.
Whoa, the Rifleman. Issue number 10, a very controversial photo cover, Baker Shaker. God, Baker, what are you searching? CGC 3.0, 800 US dollars. Now, Rocksteady, before we get your thoughts on this cover, can't wait to see what the chat's about to say about this. But the Rifleman, dude, the entire run is just some weird ass covers when it comes to covers. I don't know what more to say. It's always this man and this boy. And I looked inside some of the actual comics, and I mean the comics seem pretty cool, but the covers are just weird as hell. Weird as hell.
I wonder when this came out if people knew immediately if they caught it, or and like they just like grabbed them off the shelves, or they threw them away, or parents caught kids with them giggling at them in the playground and were like, "What are you looking at?" and would take it away. It's kind of crazy because you never see this one in high grade. Like this was one that was hidden under your mattress, that was hidden from your parents, that you would definitely giggle at after school. Like a 3.0 for 800, that's big for a Dell book,
Yeah.
especially one without significance that's just a cover play. But this kind of goes along the same lines as like the Alf with the Seal book, just these innuendo stuff that's pretty aggressive for innuendo.
Yeah. Yo, shout out to Steve, man, from Team Nerd Herd, Hip Hops and me. Go show some
Stuff.
love. Team Nerd Herd doing their thing over on Nearing Nirvana. That's right, my fellow shaker, Miss Bird City, who will not be there this week, but go check out Nearing Nirvana's channel, subscribe, and support the boys at Team Nerd Herd doing their thing every week. Nothing but love for them. But yeah, dude, this cover, the chat is killing me with all their stuff. But yeah, messed up, dude. But like I said, there's many other covers within this entire run that's just like some strange photos. Like it's just, I don't know, man. I don't
So is
know.
that guy like trying to contain his laughter? Because his face, like, yes, the wood, everything, the little kid is kind of like smirking too, but that guy's face is, yeah,
Yeah,
he means he's the rifleman.
yeah. So Hyper brings up an
Yeah,
amazing point, man. Good luck explaining this to the homies when it's hanging on your wall in your comic room. You bought a
gets taken
3.0.
away at the border.
Yeah, dude, for sure, man. They're not gonna. They're I don't even want to get into this conversation. But anyways, the Rifleman issue number 10, CGC 3.0, selling for $800 US. Yes, Chiapet, this is why they made the Comic Code Authority. So $800 is huge, like the log. Anyways, God of War number 1, first appearance of Kratos in a comic. CGC 98 selling for $193 US. Baker Shaker, gotta love God of War. Of course, myself being a gamer, lots of us gamers. I can see some people here in the chat. Bird's here. Ferdy is a gamer. Ferdy talks games, video game sales, and I highly encourage everyone to check that out because video game sales is a whole other ball game. And it's such interesting content. So shout out to Birdbird. But this book right here, God of War, dude, I grew up playing God of War from God of War now till even the most recent Ragnarok. Dude, it's such good shit. And I wish I had this book. I don't. I don't.
I think this book should get a little more love. Um, it's a huge franchise. It's a Wildstorm title. There weren't many people getting Wildstorm books. They have some really abstract stuff. The covers for this whole series are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
193 for a 9.8 actually seems a little low when you compare it against like other
Yeah.
similar titles. Like a Devil May Cry will go for more than that. Metal Gear Solid will go for more than that. So yeah, I think there's even room for this book to grow.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I think 193 is a very fair price. I want to highlight Phil's comment because I saw Squirrel with a Gun as well, and that game looks hilarious. It is not Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's not. It's a total different game. But man, it's hilarious. So yeah, I agree, Ferdy. I think this is a great sale. Yeah, Gear Up saying it's still cheap at
Yeah,
193 US. I think so too. I definitely think so. So hopefully one day I will lock one down. But we're going to continue with some game stuff because Ratchet and Clank number 1 also had a pretty impressive sale at more or less the same price. Sorry, $1 less than the last book we spoke about, God of War. Now, this comic is adapted from the PlayStation game, of course. CGC 98 selling for $192 US. And it is a Baker Shaker.
Sick book again. Wildstorm again. This is like they got all these video game franchises, right?
Yeah.
I remember when you could find this book for 10, 20 bucks. Then all of a sudden it was like a $50 book. You can't get that guy raw for like that much below $100, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
in a 9.8, the Wildstorm, they were thrown in with the kids' books. They weren't cared for as much. There's a lot of paint rub, especially with that
Yep.
solid Wildstorm section at the bottom. Like these are grabs. If you're a video game person, like yeah, I'd be all over these. These are your modern day Valiant books, right?
Yeah, dude, exactly. And now Chiapet's saying he just recently got one, so shout out to him.
Yeah.
2 in a row got Ratchet and Clank for $20 at Ottawa Comic Con, said by Hyper Combo Comics, saying Rocksteady sold me issue 2 or 3, I
I
believe.
think
So
both 2 and 3.
there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So Rocksteady doing some good things in the community. But yeah, man, I like this. I want this, and I want God of War at 100%. Seeing
Yeah.
these sales, I was pretty motivated, seeing that the prices are still relatively cheap. At least in my opinion. I do think that's a fair price. So I unfortunately wasn't lucky enough to get it at cover price. Hence why we FOC, guys. But check out this Incredible Hulk issue 105. This is Marie Severin, first appearance of the missing link, but a CGC 8.0 selling for 170 US dollars. I also think that this is a fair price for this book. I think Marie Severin did amazing work when it comes to Incredible Hulk by far. One of my favorites. This cover actually went on later to be homaged for Immortal Hulk issue number 1. It was actually the cover A, and it's just great. I absolutely love this. I want to have this next to my Immortal Hulk issue number 1, so this is a definite must grab at some point in my life.
So I think this is like the honey part of the Incredible Hulk, right? Like this is the storyline, this is the art, this is what made Hulk Hulk to the
Yeah,
masses. 8.0 seems like a low grade because I was kind of thinking, 8.0, you probably want a little bit higher. But with that red cover, it gets really tough. So 8.0 is probably a pretty solid book as far as this one goes. But yeah, like Hyper saying, cool Hulk book. If you're into Hulk, it's probably a must have. If you're not into Hulk, I don't see a lot of other reasons to grab it. The missing link, whatever, all these B, C, D tier people come and go, it seems now.
yeah,
But yeah, for Hulk fans, this is a must have. 80, 170,
yeah.
probably pretty spot on.
Yep, I love it. For 170, I'm a buyer. So Incredible Hulk 105 CGC 8.0 selling for 170 US dollars was a Baker Shaker this week. But speaking Baker Shakers, we also have Submariner issue number 1, Origin of Submariner Retold. CGC 94 sold for 3,600 US dollars. That is a pretty impressive sale. Dude, I remember so much hype leading up to Black Panther 2, right? With Namor making his way into the film. And I don't think this book, whether it's spec or not, is ever going to change. Whether you're speculating on Namor or not, this book, in my opinion, is one of the best Namor covers.
Oh, absolutely. And I think they did Namor well in the MCU, if you ask me.
Yeah,
I think he was well done. I think the only thing that kills Namor is the Aquaman series, and that's why they haven't pushed it because there's too many similarities.
yeah,
Or I think Submariner would be a bigger character. But this book, Iron Man #1, that the crossover of Submariner and Iron Man, like those are some of the most underrated books. The Doom book, like where you have main title, #1,
yeah,
character on the front, like as far as iconic books go, no Submariner book will come even close to this. Like, there's some modern stuff that's really cool, but nothing's gonna come close.
yeah,
9.4, that seems pretty damn high for a 9.4, but I get it. This book is very hard to get in over a 9, simply because of the colors. There was rolling of this book. I'm pretty sure it's a square bound. Am I right or no?
No, I don't recall it being
Okay. But
square
yeah,
bounded.
this book I've seen pretty trashed, and it's rare to find a really good one.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think it's a gorgeous book to have, man. So for 3,600 US dollars, if you can afford that in a CGC 94, you can have Submariner #1. Comic Ozzy saying first Silver Age solo series are the best, and I couldn't
Yeah.
agree more. Dude, you know what? I find myself looking at those a lot more recently, and
Even the Bronze Age one's cool too.
yep, yep, agreed. Now Check this out. Spider-Man Adventures number 10, newsstand edition, not a direct, guys. And it is the debatable first appearance of the animated series version of Venom within a comic book. CGC 98 selling for 400 US dollars. It is a Baker Shaker this week. Now, why do I say debatable? Well, because pretty much like Amazing Spider-Man 299, the issue before, we do see him. So make of it what you will.
This book is probably one of the best Venom covers, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think this is the Venom we knew, especially our age group, where we were watching the cartoons, where even the books were a little old for us. So this is the Venom I know, and like I used to draw as a kid, right? I would get the trading cards. Spider-Man Adventures, man, all that stuff, like the toon stuff, I think is really heating up. I think this book at 9.8 at 400. I think there's room on this book. Venom collectors are crazy, especially at a newsstand. Cool book,
dude. It's crazy because a newsstand going for 400 US dollars, you can get a 9.8 in a direct edition for from half off. I have a CBCS 9.4, if I'm not mistaken, on this book, or CGC. It's somewhere behind me. But I just love it. It's exactly what you said. I look at this cover, it's immediately what I grew up watching. This is the Venom I came to know, and of course then falling in love with comics. I got to see Larson's work on Venom, I got to see Todd McFarlane, and just fell in love with Venom as a whole. And it all started with that cartoon. In fact, I started collecting comics because of that cartoon. So for myself, owning this was a no-brainer. It was something that I needed to have in my collection, simply because it all began here for me. So yeah, CGC 98, 400 US dollars for a newsstand. Not bad. Not bad. Now, speaking cartoons, my friend, we're going to roll with the theme because Batman Beyond Return of the Joker actually had a pretty neat sale for a CGC 98, selling at 275 US dollars. This book is based on the animated movie. And prior to the show, I was talking to you about this because, yes, the movie also has an iconic poster. I think the poster alone is just insane. I love it so much. And there was a video game that was tied to this back on PlayStation, back on Nintendo 64. And I thought at that point in time, my God, this game is the best thing since fucking sliced bread. And lo and behold, it does not stand the test of time. I went back to play it and it's horrific. But regardless, dude, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I think this is, again, the same era, that early 90s, captures the essence of, you know, Batman had become a little dated by that point. You know, you saw what they did in the movies and stuff, updating him. But this is like the complete makeover of Batman. This is kind of what they did with the 2099s in the Marvel. And like, this is a sick Batman. This is a sick story movie. Like you said, the game, I never played it, but like, I get behind Batman Beyond. I think, yeah, I'm all for this one. 275, 98. Yeah, I think you're right there.
Yep, I'm a buyer. Now, we're going to get into some of the Baker territory. Yes, it was a Baker Shaker, but also available on the Covrprice Daily Shaker. If you're subscribed to Covrprice over on their website, you would have seen this in the Daily Shaker as well. G.I. Joe Special number 1. This is a Spider-Man 1 homage cover by none other than Todd McFarlane. CGC 98 selling for 605 US dollars, which is a pretty impressive sale in my opinion.
So pretty common book, pretty desirable book. So this is where you really get that supply and demand thing, where supply is super big, but demand on this is pretty big, right?
Yep.
So it's always going to be a relevant book. 9.8 for $60, like you're getting close to grading fees. You're not submitting this book; you're buying it in a 9.8 at that price, right?
Yep.
This for me, you know, there's rumors that McFarlane might be coming around these parts of the woods for a signing. This is one I'd consider where, you know, it's a low buy-in. You crack it, you get it signed. You're looking at a premium on top of that if you can reslab at 9.8. So yeah, I like this book.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. So G.I. Joe Special number 1, Spider-Man 1 homage by Todd McFarlane, CGC 98, 605 US dollars. So that's pretty up there, but still a good book. Now, I want to talk some Spawn, because what would a Baker Shaker be without some Spawn? Spawn 283. This is the Image Expo Sketch edition. CGC 98 sold for $475. Damn.
Some of these spawns, man, like Spawn fans are crazy. And there's nothing significant in this book other than it's low print, right? So uh, I've learned more and more, especially in the last year and a half, like how much some of the Spawn stuff goes for. And I always thought it was something I would hang on to, like if I found. But man, they're ravenous. They got to get them. Yeah, good for this book. Probably room on it. Spawn people are crazy, like I said.
Yep. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this one, which is 283 on the far right, I think it was limited. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like Michael Baker might know this a little better, but I think it was limited to 500.
This is a con exclusive?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
so as you can see, it says Image Expo sketch variant. So
then 475 is probably cheap, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so Michael Baker saying, yes, this is a very good price. This book used to go for 800 plus. So just to give you an idea.
but there were some of these books, weren't there? Super rare Spawn books, and then all of a sudden somebody came out and sold a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I remember hearing something about that. So yeah, I'd like to look at that.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty cool, man. $475 if you're, into collecting some of these expos and obviously Spawn. This is a neat book. Now, we're going to get into some other territory here with Pokemon Power. That's right. This is volume 3 featuring Gengar and of course Tangela right there. Raw near mint sold for $125. That is an impressive sale. And you know what's funny? Rocksteady, I saw this this book sent to me by Michael Baker, and immediately I thought of, well, the time books that you, myself, Newbie, and several others have been talking about within our chat. Those books, some of them are doing pretty well on the secondary market, even for Raws. Now, Nintendo Power, not Nintendo Power, Pokemon Power, Volume 3, $125 raw. That's pretty impressive for this book.
Was it this particular one, or is this just a stock photo?
It was this particular one. It was a volume
so that
3
explains
with
a
Gengar.
lot for the sale then. So what I'll say is, if this were a newsstand, it would have a barcode on the front.
Yep.
Okay. If it's a direct version, then it doesn't have the barcode on the front. And you would think the newsstands would be more abused, but the direct ones that got mailed to your place or whatever, like they had to go through the mail, so they were trashed. So if this one is in good shape, that's likely it. The Pokemon stuff is fire. Like I see people going back and collecting Pocket Monster stuff, old magazines. People just like to display it. Like we were talking, we saw those foils with the Time magazine. Someone had a display, one of those IKEA cabinets with one in each. Just looks good. Like any of this cross genre stuff, like look at this list now. How much of it is cross genre? Where you not only have comic fans, you have magazine collectors, you have video game fans, you have strictly Pokemon fans. And this is where books just explode, is when there's not enough to go around the different genres, the different markets.
And you know what, Greg, you bring up great points, because maybe some of you who have been watching my show routinely on Sundays are noticing that there's a lot of video game themed stuff that's making its way onto the lists. And that's simply because I've been saying it for a long time, even back when I was with the Comic Kingpins. Like, video game books are just they're heavily sought out after. There is a market for it, and I'm noticing, obviously on the secondary market, a lot of those are definitely making some leaps, and we've seen it firsthand with some of the books we're showing now every other week. It's not intentional. I'm not putting it because I favor video games. By no means do I. But yeah, man, comic books and magazines related to, like you said, those crossover genres. Whether
like if you think, like, comic books now aren't the primary market, they're the secondary market. You need a video game to push a book. You need a movie to push a book. If a book is just a comic book, it just kind of sits there now, right? You see it goes up when it gets announced for development, or a game gets announced or anything like that.
Yeah, except for those who that have stood the test of time, right? Like, there's no knock on those classics, which we can go through thousands and thousands of books as examples. But yeah, no, I agree with you, especially in the more modern time. for sure, there's a lot of stuff that definitely requires a little bit of a push. But Pokemon Power, raw near mint, selling for 125 US dollars. I like this. This is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It's cool.
Now, let's get into some foreign stuff because
Yeah.
Swamp Thing, number one, this is the Mexican edition. I'm going to give it a whirl. It says Migrana Aventura. CGC 4.0 selling for 350 US dollars. Also a Baker Shaker. I like these foreign comics, of course, throughout different countries in the world. And it's funny because I live here in Quebec, which is in Canada. I'm in
Foreign
Montreal,
country.
and I have, yeah, it's not a foreign country, but I have access to a lot of French books. We have a lot of classic, Amazing Spider-Man, the older books. And dude, they don't go for much of a premium here, so I'm curious to see what those do on the secondary market. But Swamp Thing number one, the Mexican edition, CGC 4.0, 350 US dollars. I like foreign books. I think this is cool.
Yeah, foreign books, like I'm into. I think it's super fun. It's a pretty deep rabbit hole. Just because something is foreign doesn't mean it's valuable.
Yeah.
Like you were saying. Like I have everything from Dragon Ball Z foreign. I have Scotty Young foreign, Panini ones from Italy. So it's really got to be the right book, the right era. They reprinted a lot of stuff, and it has to come from the right country. We're hoarders here in North America. We're spoiled. They
Yeah.
overprint. We're wasteful. That kind of thing. And in Mexico, like it's not as luxurious as it is here. A lot of these things end up in fires, or they get used for different purposes. You go to even other countries and it gets even more rare.
Yeah.
So this is a good book, great cover. This is probably period accurate. It didn't come out 10 years later like some of the European stuff.
Yeah.
From the original. Cool book. 4.0, 350. That's strong.
Yep. I agree with you, man. Very strong. I like this. I like this. And just to add to Cliff's comment talking about books in general, what we were saying earlier about, the things that require push, he does bring up a great point when it comes to books like Avengers Twilight that came out this year, the Doom One Shot, Ultimate Spider-Man. Yes, there are some books that definitely hold.
No, Doom got the Doom announcement. I know it was big before, but I think that just carried it on. I think all this stuff, like Avengers Twilight, it's not worth a ton. I'm talking value-wise. Yeah, these are all great reads, don't get me wrong. But Ultimate Spider-Man's down too, right?
I don't know if the Doom got the Doom push because of Robert Downey Jr. I think out the gate it was just successful and it held
Yeah,
its own.
yeah, it was.
I maybe the Doom stuff gave it a little bit of a push, but I don't think it's going to ride a wave thanks to that. But Avengers Twilight, we shall see down the road. I think Ultimate Spider-Man is going to keep doing its thing. There are books, but very select few in a huge amount of accessibility when it comes to reads, comics, etc. So I do think the push is necessary. Back to what you were saying earlier, right? I agree with you on that aspect 100%. But let's continue going because we have Moon Knight number 1:75 ratio by Bill Sienkiewicz. CGC 96, sorry, selling at 650 US dollars. It was a cover price daily shaker. Not the highest sale for this book, but in my opinion, one of the best Moon Knight covers out there. I think this is incredible.
Iconic cover. This was sick. This is held value. I think 650 for this is even down from what it was at one point.
Yep.
This is a smoking book, tough to find. Nobody's ordering 75 Moon Knights at the time.
Nope.
And sick artists. Like, yeah, this is a win book. This isn't one I think this is a very volatile book, I believe. Like, you're gonna see spikes in Moon Knight news. This is gonna go up, this is gonna go down. But this isn't gonna go down further than this. A 9.6 commanding 650 in this market. Like, look how far down some of those other monster modern books are, right? I think that's pretty good for this.
Yeah, dude, look, think of it like this, okay? Ultimate Fallout 4. First appearance of Miles Morales in a CGC 98 has dropped to the three digits. We're looking at 900 and something dollars. So for, given the circumstances and everything you just mentioned, CGC 96 selling at 650 US dollars, I think that's impressive. I think this book is definitely I want to agree. I want to agree with Michael Baker asking, maybe the modern Moon Knight Grail
Yeah,
when
absolutely
it
it
comes
is.
to
There's
the
no
Grail.
bigger Moon Knight book than this.
Yeah. Wasn't this a lot higher? Agree, Rocksteady. Great book. Yes, it was. It was. Um, Ultimate Fallout 4, also first maker. Very spot on. Um,
Yeah.
Think of which, a Moon Knight
And
is
Platt,
a match
Sankovich and
made in
Platt.
heaven. Yeah. Couldn't agree more. But a wonderful book, CGC 96, $650. 30, my bro. I see you in
Yeah.
the chat. Let's get to it. Let's get to it because Sonic the Hedgehog issue 98 sold in a CGC 94 for $475. The book was actually number 3 on CBSI. Shout out to Ferdbird because he was the one who actually made the sale over on eBay. So congratulations on moving this book. But this book has the first appearance of Shadow and Gerald Robotnik. Now, first appearance of Shadow, just in general, even prior to the trailer, I think was a book that is a must own. Now, we got the trailer for Sonic 3. I think Shadow looks incredible. I can't wait to hear more of Keanu Reeves as Shadow. But Gerald Robotnik is a very big character as well within this, because he's the, I believe the grandfather of Dr. Eggman, and the he's in the movie. He's also in the movie. So this book selling at a 9.4 for $475, and I swear I had my eye on this book. I had it saved, and I was like, man, I hope it I want the best for 30, but I also want to try to buy this book. But yeah, once I saw the prices it was hitting, I'm like, oh, out of reach for myself, but I'm very happy for Ferdbird. Now, the game itself, as you can see at the bottom there, it references Sonic Adventure 2, where we got introduced to Shadow within the video games. And I got to tell you, it's by far one of my favorite Sonic video games of all time. I played the shit out of that game, still play it every now and then. I go back to it. The first stage, the theme song, everything about this game is just so good. So good. Dude, take it away.
Yeah, Dreamcast getting some love here. Um, Sonic books are so strange to me. They're kind of like that Spawn world where, the people who want it like fight over it. And we're looking at direct editions, we're looking at newsstand editions, like sick book. There's not going to be many out there. I don't even know what print run is. Can't be more than a few thousand. Like this was in the nowhere land of Sonic books, and to find it, this is the kind of book you find out in the wild. Um, you're not gonna get this from a comic shop cheap.
No, that's exactly it. You hope to come across this in the wild. Exactly what
That's a
you said,
garage
right?
sale, used bookstore place.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Of Sonic books, there's clearly some Sonic books that are grails for myself, but this one's in the top 3. And yeah, I hope, Ferdy, like you said, you did sell it. The guy did pay. Hopefully you do get it back one day. I think it may come back down a little bit, but man, a CGC 94 selling for $475. Again, congratulations to you,
Yeah.
and congratulations to the buyer, because I think this is a wonderful book to have within your collection, man.
And right time to sell, dude. After the Keanu Reeves
Oh yeah.
news, there's hype right now. Yeah, good on you.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Now, let's roll it over to your
Whew.
favorite guy, Scotty Young, who did the 1 in 15 ratio for Lockjaw and the Pet Avengers issue number 4. CGC 98 selling for $1,500. I believe this is the highest sale that ever took place for this book. It was on the Covrprice Daily Shaker this morning. Shout out to Mr. Longshot, who also has been talking about this book quite some time. And I believe also posted about this. But yeah, dude, big sale. I think it is the ultimate Scotty Young Grail. I think it's up there.
Yeah, so I'd say we're looking at this one, the Run the Jewels variant.
Yeah.
Those are probably the 2 biggest right now. Mel V was big on this book, and I
Oh yeah.
looked everywhere. I have always looked for it. I would buy it if I saw it. This and the Run the Jewels are my 2 ghosts. Like I cannot find them for whatever I do, or it's like crazy eBay prices. But
Yeah.
Scotty fans are crazy. Scotty fans are moving away from baby variants into his more traditional stuff, I'm finding more and more. This is a bananas book. This is, yeah, probably the Scotty Grail.
Yeah, it's got to be the biggest sale I've ever even seen for this book, and I believe that's exactly what I read over on Covrprice's website. Covrprice Daily Shaker was available this morning. I saw it this morning, and dude, it is such an impressive sale. $1,500 US. That ain't chump change, man. That is not chump change. I think, imagine this signed by Scotty Young in a 9.8, what this would fetch.
The Scotty signatures don't add any value. I don't think really to the books that much. I would probably keep this one unsigned if it were my call.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you at all.
I
I think
actually got it when I met Scotty Young a couple weeks ago. I actually got a couple books signed on the inside cover because I didn't want it to mess with the cover.
that's cool. You know what? That's always a good idea too, right? I know, people enjoy the display like myself, right? I like displaying my book, the cover with the signature on the
Well,
front.
I have some for sure, yeah.
Yeah, but on the inside, that's neat, man. And I imagine, when you send it to CGC, it's gonna mention the signatures there on the inside. So
Yeah, or just for myself, right? Like just
yeah,
knowing it's there, or whatever, right? It's kind of like the old school way.
yeah.
I want to get back to doing more of that.
Michael Baker saying blue label over the yellow label for CGC. But guys, that was the market report. And let me tell you, we will definitely get into some CGC talk and some other talk right now during the hot topics segment, because that's what we're going to end the show off on. Now, Rocksteady, for the last time. You ready?
I'm ready.
There he is. All right, guys, let's run through some of the hot topics of the week. And I promise you it's going to be short and sweet, but definitely sweet. So, first and foremost, we have a deleted scene that reveals Gambit survived the void, teasing his MCU future. Now, I did have the opportunity to see the footage. I don't know if you guys did. And no, I'm not putting up a spoiler warning when it comes to Gambit. I think by now everybody's well aware that Channing Tatum did play Gambit in Deadpool and Wolverine. So, him surviving the void. And I love how he's doing a lot of interviews now post the release of the movie, and he keeps talking about the future of Gambit. He wants to be in the MCU. He wants to continue this, man. I did feel a little bit like within the film, it felt like a parody at some points, right?
Yeah.
It didn't feel serious. And that was probably the negative impact that it had on myself, the viewer, right? So do I want to see him moving forward? I don't know how I feel, man. You?
I think he kind of acted the way we all felt. Like, do we want this going forward? Is this what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I think it's just Marvel's friggin' way of trolling us because they trolled us with this stuff for 3 years, 4 years, 6 years before this movie. And I think they're just going to keep that troll going. Like, this is the Mephisto thing. This is, like, they're just
Probably.
trolls. They're absolute trolls.
Yeah, shout out to Comics and Culture who just made it here for the show. So appreciate you being here. But yeah, I agree with you, man. It's one of those things where like I know he's passionate about the character, but how did it come off within this movie? It did feel a little bit like a parody. But the fight scenes, I think, need to be acknowledged. I think people need
Yeah.
to recognize that was awesome, man. Like seeing Gambit do his thing. Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm all for Gambit. I want more X-Men. Let's go.
Yep. There you go. So we'll see. We'll see. But anyways, I wanted to put this on for tonight because, of course, the book's highlighting a lot of video games, but you yourself are also, collecting a lot of retro stuff. And now GameStop announced GameStop Retro, which will focus on retro gaming. And what that means, guys, is that we're going to have the capacity to buy a lot of retro stuff when it comes to video games. So, example, you'll be able to find some SNES games, Super Nintendo, as I said, SNES, NES, your Dreamcast, you will find PlayStation, you will find it all, Sega. It's all going to be there. Unfortunately, I was actually hurt. My feelings were a little hurt when I saw that the fucking Wii and the Wii U were considered retro, dude. I was like, excuse you, bro. Who you calling retro? But I think this is awesome. What I hope to see is factory sealed stuff. I'm curious to see if we're going to see such things.
This is going to be a shit show, dude. Like, do you know how good of staff you need to have trained in order to buy retro, to sell retro? You have to judge, like, the condition of it, the completeness of it. Everything needs to be tested. It's tough to get that supply. Like if you look around, a lot of the video game shops, like used video game shops or mom and pop shops,
Yeah.
there's going to be something where they can't sell the games for so many days after they buy it. I don't know how I feel about a big business getting into the retro game world. They're not going to offer people a lot of money because they have such huge overhead.
Oh yeah.
I just think they know that the retro gaming is the majority of the chunk of gamers now. Like it used to be new games, and it's got to be maybe at least 50-50 between retro and modern gamers.
Yeah, you're spot on, man. And what's interesting is that they're going to be popping up some of these shops. It's going to be dedicated to that. It's just retro themed, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to bring this forth and pretty much handle business, like you said, right? On those aspects of being able to have employees that can handle such a market, right? Because
Yeah.
I think retro gaming is a whole other ball game. It's not just pick up the new fucking Call of Duty that came out and it's on the shelf, still in factory seal. No, it's not the same concept. Now you're talking retro. You're gonna have a lot of things. I'm curious what the processes are going to be, the testing on these things, the consoles, the video games, especially cartridges, man. How many fucking cartridges did you blow through it? And even though the back label tells you not to do so, we still did it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
It worked.
Yeah, it did. It worked every time. You blow, you smash, you hope you.
It didn't work. Then you went accordion.
Yeah, exactly. So this is pretty cool. Now, speaking games, I just wanted to highlight this as well because apparently Warner Brothers confirms that they are looking to sell their gaming division and IPs since they are in deep debt and they need some money. I think this is cool. I just wanted to bring it up simply because Warner Brothers puts out some very awesome video games. So there was the Injustice stuff, of course, Arkham, all the Arkham stuff when it comes to Batman, whether it be Arkham Asylum, all of it. I loved all of it. But I really hope this gets scooped up in a manner where we get to see some more crossover. And what I mean by that is, while we have Marvel versus Capcom, wouldn't it be amazing to have a Marvel versus DC?
They wouldn't let that happen.
I'd fucking love that shit.
Yeah, that would be tough. That would be tough to do. But I could see it crossing over into some other stuff.
Yeah, I want to see that. So Chiapet's saying Warner Brothers is $9 billion in debt, man. Just to give you guys an idea, man. Absolutely insane. Hyper talking back on the GameStop stuff, saying staff will be trained the blowing the cartridge technique if the game doesn't work. Yeah, exactly. That was
head trainer right there. Head trainer.
Yeah, but Warner Brothers being $9 billion in debt, man, and
that's scary stuff, like for IPs and all that.
Yeah, thank God for Gunn. His Superman about to save the whole studio.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, because guys, once upon a time, Marvel was in the same spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 9 billion in debt, but they were not looking good. In fact, hence why we don't have Spider-Man directly tied to Marvel, and we get Sony fucking movies, which, ugh. But I mean, at least they got Fox back, so there's that. There's that. Now, we're going to get into some more comic stuff, and since we were on the train of Batman, I just wanted to bring up that Scott Snyder confirms that the Absolute Batman comic book series will have a big cast and that all of our favorite Gotham heroes will be in it. So I'm excited about that. Dude, there's a lot of hype surrounding the Absolute Batman stuff. I'm seeing people talking about it. I know people feel a certain way about the Batman logo. I mean, yeah, it's kind of lame. I think out of all the Batman logos, this has to be my least favorite one. But regardless, I think the team behind this, Snyder being here, dude, I'm excited. I think this is gonna have some great potential. I'm looking forward to the reads.
And I think it's a good jump-in point for people who have been a little nervous around DC lately too. Like, I think this will be cool. I'd give this a shot.
Yeah, it's looking amazing, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, so big cast. I imagine we're probably going to be seeing a lot of those villains and heroes. I hope we're going to see Nightwing, Robin, and all of that fun stuff. Poison Ivy, bring it. Let's go.
Give it to us.
Yeah, I want to see this. And look, great point. Can't wait for this. If it's half as good as Ultimate Spider-Man, we are laughing. This is basically Ultimate Spider-Man, but for Batman, in my opinion. I think that's what they're going to be doing here with the Absolute stuff. So it's going to be awesome. Can't wait. Now, very quickly, Jurassic World. Well, Scarlett Johansson is going to be in Jurassic World, which we're all aware of, but it has an official title, and it's called Jurassic World Rebirth. And the film is set for release in July of 2025. And
Wasn't the
here,
last one the last Jurassic World?
sorry,
They said the last one was going to be the last Jurassic World.
well, it's getting pretty much like a revamp, right? So they're bringing it back as Jurassic World Rebirth, and here you have the first look of Scarlett Johansson, Jonathan Bailey, and Mahershala Ali in Jurassic World Rebirth. Cool. I know Hyper's in the chat. I know he's a Jurassic Park guy,
dude,
apparently.
I'll watch anything Jurassic Park. Like,
same, dude. I always
dinosaurs,
enjoy it.
dude. Like, come on. Who doesn't like dinosaurs?
Yeah.
You don't like dinosaurs? Like, you probably worry me a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
We all grew up fucking playing with those dinosaurs. Come on. But yeah, man, dude, Jurassic Park from when I was a kid, even till now, I go back to watch it, and it's yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, I like what Ozzy's saying. He's like, no, the last one was the last one.
Yeah, exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
the last one.
Yeah, exactly. We have Michael Baker saying we've had enough Jurassic Pass for him. But yeah, man,
give me dinos, dude. Give me dinos.
Yeah, bring the dinos. Now we'll keep it rolling because we got the first look of the Thing from the Fantastic Four set. Now a lot of people were actually upset about this. They were coming to the interwebs and saying a lot of negative things about the look of the Thing. I think Ben looks just fine. I think it looks just fine. I think people are looking too deep into this. His mouth is completely fucking shut. So as you guys know, Josh Brolin as Thanos, which was fully CGI'd, had like this massive head poster card thing while filming, so that the actors that he was in scenes with could make eye contact with where he's going to be CGI wise, right? I think people are going a little too hard on this. Take it easy, man, because clearly this is going to be CGI. As I said, his mouth is fully shut. Like he's not having conversation. This isn't the final product, man. And we've had some way worse things in the MCU or Fantastic Four related. The Thing, in my opinion, I think the best looking one was probably the original one. I actually really liked that one. Not the one from early days. I'm talking about the one with Jessica Alba.
Yeah. You check it before you wreck it. I hate when people do this. They see something like this, like they canceled the whole Thor movie because Gore's nose was different. Like,
yeah,
that has nothing to do with anything. Okay, that movie ended up being shit. Don't get me wrong, but like, give it a chance. Don't start shitting on a Fantastic Four movie yet. Like, give us some hope here.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I just wanted to bring this up because I saw the internet going a little crazy. I think it's awesome. So I'm cool with this. Let's go, man. I want to see more stuff. I just don't want to see any more spoilers, though. Like,
no spoilers. Give us a little taste here and there. Like, stuff like this gets out on purpose. They're catching our feel for it too.
Of course, that is 100%. This needs to be on a shirt. Yeah, I could imagine it being a meme. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's totally a meme. But anyways, let's keep it rolling. It looks like me when I'm dressing my son. Now, look at this, okay? This is rumor, and shout out to Chia Pet for sharing this with me because over on, I believe it was X, Elizabeth Olsen is apparently filming a Marvel project next year, but is not going to be playing Wanda. Now, Vision Quest, we know it's going to be taking place. The Vision book #1 right there is probably a good book to be keeping an eye out for. Now, Rocksteady, first, before I get into the character and as to what I think is going on, what do you think about Elizabeth Olsen coming back? Because I already know what most people are going to be saying. They're going to be saying, oh, typical Marvel, especially now with Robert Downey Jr., it's just a recast. What's your thoughts?
I love Elizabeth Olsen. She's like my crush in the MCU for sure. She just has that crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think they'll make it work. Like, don't shit on them again too early. We're all speculating here. Who knows what she'll come back as. Yeah, I'm good with her. Everybody likes her. She did a fantastic job. I've never heard anybody say anything bad about her acting or anything like that.
Now, the main reason why I'm showing you guys the Vision #1 is simply because, well, if you read it, you're very well aware of what takes place here. Now, the Vision married, kids, etc. This is not Wanda, who is his wife. In fact, it's Virginia. So, Virginia, there, as you can see, who is on the cover of that issue #1, it would make perfect sense. Imagine if they recast, well, if they cast Elizabeth Olsen as Virginia. And I just think it's genius. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm down with this, and I could see that exactly happening. This was actually a pretty fun series. But yeah, I'm down with Elizabeth Olsen. Bring her back.
Yeah. I agree with Derek saying this 2015 Vision series is
Yeah,
full of banger covers, awesome style. It's incredible. I love it.
good story, good characters for sure.
Yep. But let's get to the fun stuff. The
Oh,
fun
banana.
stuff. Because CBCS trolls CGC with a fucking banana, which is hilarious. I don't know if you guys saw the video over on their Instagram or on their socials, but they literally slabbed a banana. And of course, simply because of what's going on with CGC at the moment, with books coming back, being bananaed within their slab. So CGC finally gets trolled by CBCS in a proper time frame too, because CBCS has always, not said anything. And the last time they did respond to the swapping out shit that was happening at CGC, they responded relatively late, in my opinion. But CBCS doing this was hilarious. No monkey business here. The video is so well done. So well done.
The video was well done. The timing was great. Um, CBCS is going to eat their foot because they have nothing now.
Exactly.
So that's the unfortunate part about it. But yes, I think we both had the same reaction when we saw it. It was like shots fired.
Yep.
Let's go. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, good for them. Good for them. I have nothing bad to say about it. I don't think it's going to drastically change their business, and people are going to leave CGC for them because of this. But
Yep.
good for them.
Yeah, man. It's pretty rough. Now, what I find to be unfortunate though, just regardless of the trolling and CBCS not having enough of their I don't want to say credibility or anything, but it's just that unfortunately the market dictates, and I think look here's a prime example. Okay, I have a friend who sent me photos. His name is Mehdi, and I want to shout out Mehdi. Thank you for sending me these photos, because earlier I was talking about Gear Up, uh Armin, and Armin, he sent us a video in our group chat saying, hey, I just got back a ton of books from CGC, and there was no bends on them, everything was fine. Whereas then I get Mehdi as well, who shared some photos with me, and I'll share it with you guys. As you can see here, follow the left hand picture. Okay, now in the left hand picture, he literally just got these back from CGC, and you go from bottom to top, you see that drastic bend taking place within the slab, right?
Yeah.
So this is not some made up shit that we found on the internet. This is literally a friend of mine sending me these photos, and it's very concerning. And then you go to the right hand side and you go from top to bottom. Look at the way the bottom takes a curve going this way. It is very unfortunate to see that. In fact, I would be very, very concerned
Yeah.
about receiving my books in such a manner, especially because, yes, I know we always say, well, not that we always say, but some people, they don't care. They're just happy to have their slab and they're great on it. But your book is in there. The book is the most important part. And if that's what you're getting back, that's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. There he is. Amedi, appreciate you for these photos. Thank you so much. But yeah, dude, what do you think of that?
I think it's going to mean a few things. I think they're going to have an option where you can send it back in to get reholdered. This is all due to changes about the cracking, so they probably went with something else on the inside. Now there's going to be a holdup at CGC because they're going to be reholdering all these books, waiting for new cases to come in. Yeah, it sucks, but this is what I think. It's more like people are moving away from grading, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's
but
another reason to.
But Greg, let me ask you a question in chat. I want you guys to respond. Of course, to those of you catching the replay as well, I want to hear what you have to say. Even though you just finished saying, people are stepping away from grading their books simply because if you had to grade your book tomorrow morning, who are you sending it to?
Oh,
Regardless,
CGC, percent
CGC,
CGC,
100%, right?
100%.
Now, is it because of the secondary value?
Yes, 100%.
So again, it just goes to show you that unfortunately, because everything is connected to money and value, that's the main reason why we as collectors choose CGC. And I'm not protesting against CGC. I'm just saying facts of what's going on within the hobby. By doing such a thing, we're kind of handicapping ourselves. In my opinion, I don't understand. I never did understand
I know.
why a CGC slab holds more value than a CBCS. I came across a Rocco's Modern Life #1, which I want to buy because it was a cartoon I watched growing up, and the CBCS is selling for 97 US dollars, whereas a CGC 98 is over 250. And it made no sense to me. Absolutely no sense. It's the book I care about inside the case. I don't even care about the case itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's the reality. Money being tied to these things is why, unfortunately, we're paying the price. And even under such circumstances, people don't care. That's
Yeah,
what it seems like.
that's where we're at for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to your investment, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I think it's a monopoly, and I don't think there's an answer.
Yeah. Gear up saying buy the CBCS and send it to CGC. Right now, I'm a little concerned to do so. Like I said, I care mostly for the
Yeah,
books inside. But, like I said, Armin received books back from CGC and he says that they were perfectly fine. So I'm hoping that things are starting to take a turn for the best. Obviously, not the turn for the worst, if you know what I'm talking about.
yeah.
So there you go. We'll end off on that for that one. But the last thing I want to talk about, guys, I don't know if you saw this, but Jen Bartel snaps on Marvel. And yes, there's a pun intended there with the word snap because what's going on with Jen Bartel? Well, apparently she stopped drawing She-Hulk covers for Marvel Comics, and some people caught on to that, of course. And now here we're going to see why Jen Bartel stopped drawing She-Hulk covers for Marvel Comics and what else is going down with artists and contracts right now when it comes to that. So everybody recognizes Jen Bartel and of course her work. Jen Bartel does amazing work.
Yeah.
I put her side by side with Frizen. I don't know.
Up there for sure.
I find work wise, I can see some similarities, but I can distinguish who is who when looking at a cover. But yeah, just Jen Bartel, everybody's familiar with some of her work. But check this out, okay? Because the Marvel Snap game that's available over on your cell phones. It's an application that you can download, a game, sorry, that you could download and play. Fun game. But Jen Bartel says that on the far right, you can see her art being used within the game. Now, to my knowledge, I believe this particular card goes for a little bit of a premium, or you have to buy packs or whatever it is. And she says, I wish I actually got paid for these. Artist Jen Bartel explains why she doesn't get money for Marvel Snap. And she says it's actually perfectly legal because we have to sign over all rights on any licensed art we make for mega corporations who own these characters. But it's definitely not ethical to shaft artists like this. Some companies like Mondo, rest in peace, paid us for usage even if they didn't have to. They don't legally have to because we, the artists, don't own the rights to any official work we've done for these companies, but it'd go a long way to extend us some goodwill considering they promote these rare variants explicitly using our names and creator recognizability, which sucks. So it is unfortunate. She's kind of opening the curtain, pulling back the curtain a little bit back a little bit with what's going on over at Marvel, and being Marvel, the part of the big two, of course, with DC. She's artists in general are having to sign away all rights to the arts they're putting together for these books and so forth, which kind of sucks.
Well, it's kind of like why McFarlane left and created Image in the first place, right?
Yep.
Giving the artists more ownership of their characters and their stories and stuff like that. In this game, I know there's Scotty Young pieces too. There's all sorts of artists. It doesn't just stop there. Like Gentle Giant has a line of Scotty Young statues, but they're not called Scotty Young statues. They're like little marbles, right? And they don't give any mention to Scotty Young at all. It's like we own the characters, we own the licensing. Like that's why they're the empire. That's why they hire what they do. I think it sucks for the artists, and I do think there should be more power somehow for them to negotiate any likeness, like anytime they use that, right? So
I yeah. Go ahead, continue.
no, I think you're absolutely right. There just needs to be something put in place. It's not illegal, but it's not right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is at least I think the worst part is that she goes on to say more, and it sounds a lot like example, if you're contracted for 5 years with Marvel, just an example, for 5 years you're making X amount of dollars, but like if things start to move in a certain manner where it's like, hey, like now you're using my art in video games, you're using it in this, you're using it in that,
Yeah.
like, look, I work, you know what I mean, and I anticipate my annual review, right? So you want to get the increase, you want your salary increase, so you would hope for such. So I don't know, man. I appreciate her coming out to say this. I do think it sucks, but I also agree with some of you in the chat, like Derek saying, look, you signed the contract, you knew what you signed up for, right? So it's an immediate
But what are
no.
your options, like when you're just trying to get in? Like it's set up to be that way too, right? So
Yeah,
there's got to be a middle ground somewhere.
exactly. Now, I'm like I said, I'm an employee, right? I am on a yearly annual salary, so I anticipate that review after a year. But if I go up to my boss, in 6 months and be like, hey, I did X amount, I'm due for a raise, he's kind of gonna shaft me and be like, dude, you gotta wait a year. It is what it is, right? So I think maybe come renegotiation time, that's a good time to have this conversation. But just a little insight of how it goes for some of these artists
Yeah.
in Marvel, and I guess the big two. I'm not, I can't speak for DC because I haven't heard anything, but yeah, Chiapette saying she's not saying they are doing
Yeah,
illegal
that's
stuff. She's
exactly
saying that it's not cool. Exactly, it's not
what
illegal.
we're saying too. I think, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Just because
yeah,
something is legal doesn't mean it's right. Yes. So I think an appreciation and an acknowledgement of, hey, we appreciate everything you've been doing. We're using your content across multiple platforms. So here's a little incentive. I think that would be nice. That's pretty much it.
yeah, yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah. But Rocksteady, that was the show. And if I'm going to end it off, I'm going to end it off on a good note, baby. There you go. Oh,
I'm
oh,
wearing,
there
yeah,
you
I'm
go.
wearing Scotty Young.
Scotty Young, but I got my
Yeah,
Rocksteady. I rock my
appreciate it.
Rocksteady. Dude, I appreciate you being on the show. It was long overdue.
Fun to be
Um,
back.
I anticipated a shorter show, to be honest, but we had a lot of
Yeah,
flowing that was going on, a lot of
it was good.
conversation. So I appreciate that. It's been long overdue. The last time you were on was months ago. Um,
Yeah,
in the early stages of me kicking
I think
off.
it was like show like 3 or 4 probably.
Yeah, it was like, dude, yeah, almost a year ago. So
Yeah,
yeah, I missed it. I missed you. And of course, I got to hang out with you at Terrificon, but I don't want to wait again to
yeah.
hang with you. So
Deal. I got to make my way to Montreal. I got to watch those seat sales and come out that way. And you
bring
guys
it,
got
man.
to come out this way.
Bring it, man. But dude, what do you have going on now? You just picked up that collection. Are you gonna be picking up
That'll
more?
that'll be at the next show. Always picking stuff up as often as I can. Yeah, you catch me at the show. I'm doing Edmonton Fan Expo. I have the Edmonton Collector Con, and then I have Dark Star all before the end of the year. So I'm out there.
Yeah, you're doing a lot of stuff, man. When it comes to shows, you're literally running your own, which is
Uh,
big, man. That's big stuff. I'm hoping to one day kick off a show here,
yeah,
in my neck of the woods.
you have to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to run me through those ropes. Let me know
I'm
how to
here
do
for you.
it.
I'm still
Yeah,
going through ropes, right? So,
yeah. But all right, man. So, Greg, appreciate you. Chat, guys, those of you catching the replay, drop a comment down below. It actually helps the algorithm. It'll get more people to
do
come and
it.
check out some of
Like
the content.
notifications on.
Yeah, man. Hit like, hit subscribe, show some love, and of course, let us know what you thought about all the stuff we discussed tonight. Now, for myself, you can catch me this Thursday night over on Covrprice. I'll be doing the Shaker Show with the regular crew, except Laura. Laura won't be there. She's actually in London right now, hanging out with her husband. A little getaway is definitely needed. So the boys
Monday's
are going to be holding it down, which I'm going to be honest with you, is quite concerning. So, Laura, I hope we make you proud. And of course, I'll be back next Sunday with a new guest. So, chat, everybody, appreciate you guys. I see all the beautiful comments as we head out. So, nothing but love. I will see you guys this Thursday over on Covrprice. Until then, have a great week.
Peace out.
Adios.